This device right here is called an anemometer, and it tells you how fast the wind is blowing. It's currently showing me about 7-mile-per-hour winds, but did you know on Tuesday, if you were in Gardiner, this thing would have read about 104-mile-per-hour winds?
When you're talking 80 to 100 miles an hour, no, we were not aware that was going to hit.
You may recall Tuesday when we told you about winds in Livingston gusting up to 70 miles per hour. But did you know at the same time, north of Gardiner, winds surpassed that by a landslide, knocking down more than a dozen power poles?
It can be a pretty catastrophic scene. You think about, 14 plus, they're anywhere from 40 to 60 foot tall poles that are on the ground and all that conductor and wire.
I asked FedEg how often gusty winds are able to knock over these massive electrical poles.
Thinking back, I was in Livingston for 9 years and not to that extent. We had poles go down and one or two or three here and there, but to have 14 go down in a row, it's pretty unusual.
Unusual is right, according to our meteorologist Matt Elwell.
It happens where you get those strong winds. This is an anomaly. This is like the perfect storm of how things come together, that cold air, that dense cold air rushing out.
Matt helped me understand the anomaly by making an analogy to a hurricane.
Typically, we're looking at tropical storm to category 1, maybe 2, so we're talking 74 to 100 mile an hour winds pretty consistently, and that's what we were dealing with here.
But we're in Montana, where hurricanes aren't exactly our everyday weather. So where did this wind come from?
So I'd say in simple terms, think about cold air is more dense, so it has a tendency to sink. So as it comes out of those higher elevations, that dense cold air is just gaining momentum as it goes downhill. And then we come into these narrower areas and it just continues to speed up,
funneling into areas such as Gardiner and Livingston. But although it's windy, folks still choose to live in these areas. Meaning for FedEg and his team, they have to be ready for anything.
As soon as it happens, we have our transmission engineers that get to work right away, and he worked into the night Tuesday to get that line redesigned. By Wednesday, we were transporting poles and material and ready to go.
FedEg tells me around 200 folks only lost power for a few hours Tuesday, and Northwestern's goal is to have these poles back up and running by this weekend. In Bozeman, Cassidy Powers, MTN News.